Hello, welcome to your mat. My name is Meghan Coy. We're going to begin our practice today in child's pose. So bring your knees as wide as you can get them, big toes together in front of you. Walk your hands out, your chest out, and rest your forehead down onto your mat. So this is our first opportunity in the practice to slow down the breath. Take deep, full breaths in and out of the nose. Go ahead and walk your hands over to the right side, crossing your left hand on top of the right if that feels okay for you. Pull your left hip back, stretching out the left side of the body here. Staying with those deep breaths. Walk the hands back to center and then off over to the left, crossing the right hand on top of the left, pressing the right hip back here. Good, so we're stretching that straight space between each rib on that right side. Release, come to center, and then make your way up into toes pose. So knees come together, feet together, curl the toes under, and then sit your glutes back onto your heels. So getting a nice stretch in the feet. Take your hands to the back of your head, interlacing the fingers. Draw the elbows open as you lift your gaze, lift your heart, being careful not to kink up the low back. And then draw the head forward, wrapping the elbows around. So inhale, we open and lift. And then as you exhale, you'll round forward, chin to chest, wrapping the elbows. Good. Inhale, open, lifting through the heart. Exhale, round forward, expanding the upper back. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Good, come back to neutral. Release your hands down and make your way into downward facing dog. So our first one of the day, this is my first of the day as well, so I'm going to move around a little here. Bend one knee, drop that hip, and then bend the other and drop that hip. So just trying to open up the body a little bit here, letting it know where we're headed. Accepting any areas of tightness and breathing into those spaces. We're going to move forward here. So lift your heels, round through the mid and upper back. Snake your way forward to a high plank, hips slightly lower than shoulders. And then lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. We're going to do that with our breath here. So inhale very slowly, snake forward. Complete the inhale when you get to high plank. And then the exhale very slowly takes you back to downward facing dog. Let's do it again. Inhale, slowly come forward. Exhale, slowly take it back. Good. Now walk your feet to the top of your space for ragdoll. Feet hip bones distance apart. You can bend your knees a lot here if you'd like, taking the opposite hand to opposite elbow. Let your torso sway heavy here. Relax the neck. Weight is slightly forward into the balls of your feet. Straightening your legs only as long as you don't feel a strain in the low back. Now place that left hand down and reach the right hand up. You can bend your left knee here, rotating the chest towards the right. Gaze maybe is up at your lifted hand or shoulder. And then we'll switch sides. Right hand down, left hand up. Maybe bend that right knee. Really rotating the sternum here over to the left. We'll be doing quite a bit of twisting today. And then release, coming down. Hands to the hips, bend your knees with a flat back. Rise all the way up to standing. Good. Begin with our sun salutations here. Hands begin at the heart center, then reach them up. Now you can't see here, but I want you to make a triangle with your hands, your thumbs and your index finger, and find a little back bend here, drawing the biceps by the ears. And then as you exhale, forward fold. We'll be making that triangle quite a bit today with thumbs and fingers. Find a halfway lift, inhale. And then as you exhale, step back to a high plank, drop to your knees and lower all the way down. Feet hip bones distance apart, maybe a little wider. Take the elbows under the shoulders, maybe slightly in front. Now press into the tops of your thighs and your feet, lifting your chest, pressing into your hands and drawing your chest forward. So before we move into our upward facing dog, we enjoy a little cobra here, beginning to open up the chest. Now lower down, hands under shoulders, press into high plank, come slightly forward and chaturanga. Inhale into your upward facing dog. This time thighs and knees are off of the mat. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Breathe in and out. Breathe in. And on your exhale, come forward to the top of your space. Halfway lift is your inhale. And a forward fold on your exhale. Rise all the way up again. Create that triangle with thumbs and index fingers. And then find a back bend, lifting the sternum here. Tailbone presses down. Inhale, you rise up. And exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, inhale. On your exhale, now step the left foot back, drop the back knee, and rise up into crescent moon. So back knee stays down to the mat. Press your hips forward. Good. Press into the top of your back foot. Front knee stacked over ankle. Make that triangle and find a back bend here. Working the tailbone down, sternum rises up. Good. Rise back up, hands out in front of you, and then find a vertical twist to the right. Good. Place that back hand on your back thigh, and then we're sort of finding a twisted back bend here. Good. Reaching up and back. Good. Left hand to the mat. Ground down into that left hand and find side plank, reaching the right hand up. Now I have my feet stacked. You can always stagger them. Now take that top hand, reach it up and over, creating even more of an arc here, stretching out the top of the body. Good. Now lift the top leg. Bring your gaze where you want to place your foot and bring it forward. Coming into crescent lunge. Back knee is lifted off of the mat now. Both hips point straight ahead. Make that triangle with your hands and find a back bend here. Back bends are only in the mid and upper back. Good. Rise back up. Vertical twist to the right. So twisting towards your front bent knee. Back hand on the back thigh. Reach up and back. Good. Now launch forward into that front foot. Place the left fingertips down on the mat or close to it, reaching the right hand up. So finding that twist. And then released, bringing the left foot to the mat, hands in prayer at the heart center. Good. We're going to do that on the other side now. Reach up, create that triangle with your hands and find your back bend. Good. Inhale, back up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale to halfway lift. And on your exhale, step the right foot back. Drop the back knee, rising up into crescent moon. Getting a nice stretch here in that right hip flexor. Make a triangle with your thumbs and your index fingers overhead. And on an exhale, find a back bend, lifting the gaze, lifting the chest. Good. Inhale, you rise back up, take the hands forward, and then vertical twist to the left. Left hand reaches back. Good. Now back hand on your back thigh. Reach up, reach back. Beautiful job. Release the right hand down on the mat. And step back into side plank. Left arm reaches up. Good. Lift those hips high. Now take that top arm, bring the bicep by the ear and lift your hips even higher. Good. Bring your gaze down next to your right hand. Lift the left knee up and rotate that left foot forward. Beautiful job. And find crescent lunge. Back leg is really straight and strong here. Create that triangle with your hands. Big breath in. And on your exhale, find the back bend here. Stay deep in the front knee. Inhale, you rise up. Vertical twist to the left now. Back hand to the back thigh, reach up, reach back. Good. Now launch forward into that left leg, right hand down, left hand high. Find that rotation, shooting that right leg straight back. Good. And then rise up to standing, hands at heart center. Beautiful work. Reach up, create that triangle, find your back bend. Good, inhale, rise up. And then exhale, sit down into chair pose. Good. So feet are either hip bones distance or feet are together. Bring arms out in front of you and then vertical twist to the right. So reaching the right hand back. Check in, make sure the hips are still pointing straight ahead. Knees are next to each other. Come back to center and now twist to the left. Good. Gaze follows your twist here. Inhale back to center. Arms come back up, sit a little deeper on an exhale. And then bow forward. Good, halfway lift as your inhale. This time we step back to a chaturanga as you exhale. Chest stays lifted as you lower. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, reach that right leg up and back. Hold here for just a moment. Press the left heel down. Level out your hips. Good, push into your hands. Now draw knee to nose, right knee to nose. Hold here, really squeeze it in, round through the back. And step through into low lunge. Rise into crescent lunge. Good, make that triangle with your fingers, find a back bend. Yes, inhale, rise back up, take the hands forward and then rotate to the right. So vertical twist to the right. Back hand to the back leg, reach up and back. Good, back to your vertical twist, and then you open into warrior two. Yes, so front knee is bent deeply here. Soften through your shoulders as you bring strength all the way through the arms into the fingertips. Good, take that back arm, wrap it around your low back, maybe even bringing the fingertips inside your front thigh, and find a bound extended side angle. So your right elbow really presses that front knee open, and gaze comes to that left shoulder, the top shoulder, so you can roll your bottom ribs forward, opening up. Good, reverse triangle, staying in that bind, reach up and back, and then find a bound triangle. Reach that right arm forward, keeping the left arm bound. Good. Beautiful strength here. Squeeze inner thighs towards one another. Now take that left arm, reach it up and over. Take both biceps by the ears. Stay in your triangle pose. And then rotate the hips, lifting the back foot. Good. Now your gaze is down at your front foot. Launch it forward into dancers. Take the hand to the inside arch of that left foot. Reach up with the right hand. Kick into your left hand and breathe. Let that left shoulder open up. Your chest will follow your gaze, so bring it up as you kick deeper into your dancers. Good. Your release is warrior one. Step back. Now warrior one, the back heel presses down. Good. Release the hands to the mat. Step back. One leg chaturanga. Right leg is lifted. It's your option. If you don't want to do that, that's fine. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Go ahead. Take a moment here. Let's move into the left side. Lift it up and back. Hold here. Press that right heel down. Leveling out the hips. Beautiful. Now draw the left knee to the nose. So squeeze it in. Shoulders are over the wrists. Beautiful. Step through to a low lunge and rise into crescent lunge. Create that triangle with your fingers. Find a back bend. Lift your heart. Good. Inhale. Rise back up. Hands come forward. Now rotate to the left. Left hand back. Take that back hand to the back thigh. Reach up. Reach back. Stay deep in the front knee. And then open to warrior two. Good. Hold here and breathe. So we're lining up the front heel with the back arch. Hips are now open to the side, working that front knee open towards the pinky toe. Good. Now take your right arm, wrap it around the low back, maybe to the inner thigh, and find bound extended side angle. Gaze is over the right shoulder here, working the bottom ribs forward. So we're opening up the chest. And then using the back of that elbow to open the knee a little more. Reverse triangle, reach up and back, and then find triangle pose. This looks really funny, doesn't it? Hold it here in triangle. Bound triangle, of course. So gaze is back up towards that top shoulder. It's going to help you rotate the chest open. Good. Reach the bottom hand forward and then take that top arm, unravel it, reach it up and over. Find your strength here in the obliques. Good job. Now rotate your chest towards the ground, lifting the back heel. And then we launch forward into Natarajasana, dancer's pose. Find one thing to bring your gaze upon, something that's not moving, and then keep your gaze right there as you take this posture to your edge. Beautiful job. Step it back into warrior one. Back heel is down, hips point forward. Good. Release the hands down. One-legged chaturanga if you'd like, lowering down halfway. Upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. Good. Come on down into dolphin pose. So bring your elbows down onto the mat and then into forearm plank. We're going to come into forearm side plank and do hip drops. You're going to drop your hip down and up, down and up. Now for stability here, I've put one foot in front of the other. You can stack the feet if you'd like. Good, and elbow is slightly in front of the shoulder here. Good, so hips come down, almost touch the ground, and then pop back up. Good. Don't forget to breathe here. One more. Good. Release to forearm plank, and then roll to the other side. We go straight into hip drops on this side. Good. Keep the hips stacked here as you go down and up. Stay with it and breathe. Now we are in our abdominal portion of our practice. This is a good time to turn on some music that really fires you up here, keeps you in it. I don't know anybody who loves core work. Haven't met him yet. Maybe that's you. Come back to forearm plank. Good. Now lift the right heel, take it out to the right, and take it back to center. Then left heel lifts, take it out to the left, back to center. So that's what we're doing. We're going to alternate lifting the heel, taking it out to the side, and then placing it back down. Hips stay lower than shoulders. You're on your forearms. Good. Press that space between the shoulder blades up towards the ceiling. Good. Lift the heel, bring it out to the side, back to center. Lift the heel, bring it out to the side, back to center. Good. You're almost there. Beautiful job. Keep it up. Lift, out to the side, back to center. Good. Release. You are finished. Woo, shake out those shoulders. For just a couple of breaths, find embryo pose. Let the shoulders fully relax down. Give yourself a little break here. And now I'm going to grab onto my block here. If you don't have a block, no worries. You can do these without a block. But if you have one, go ahead and grab it. You're going to lay onto your back and bring your legs up and your arms up. We're going to do the block pass here. Again, if no block, you just do it without the block. Place the block between your feet, reach your hands up, and then you're going to lower your legs down and your arms down. Come back up, then switch the block into your hands, lower, and come up. Switch it back to your feet, lower, and come up. Good. So continue on just like this. If you don't have the block, just lower and lift with your arms and legs at the same time. Now you'll notice my feet aren't coming down all the way to the ground because I know, I've done a lot of core this week, so I know if I lower it down too much more, my low back is going to lift. I'm going to arch off of the mat, and I really don't want to do that because that strains my low back. So only lower your legs and arms as far as you can while keeping your low back pressing into the mat. All right, so even if it just goes a little bit, that's okay. You don't need to lower it too far. Protect your back. Good. Release. Well done. Get that block out of the way. Good. Now bend your knees, tabletop the legs, arms at goal pose. Then you're going to bring your knees side to side. So the knees never actually touch the ground. Notice about 90 degrees at the hips and 90 degrees at the knees. Now, To make it more challenging, you can start to straighten the legs more. Good. Rotating side to side. Beautiful job. Stay with it. Almost there. Good. Resist the urge to pull your knees in closer as you rotate. That makes it a little too easy for you. Try to keep it at 90 degrees at the hips like you're sitting in a chair. Good. Side to side here. Again, straightening the legs if that is what you need to make it more challenging. And then we release. Give yourself a little squeeze here. Now I want you to rock, sort of move your knees side to side, maybe make some circles. Then we're going to start rocking back and forth. Making your way into a high plank, chaturanga, and then we'll pause an upward facing dog, getting a nice stretch here through the core. Draw your chest forward, lift thighs and knees. That feels good. And then when you've had enough, downward facing dog. Good. Notice any changes in your downward facing dog from the beginning of your practice today. Hopefully it's starting to feel a little bit warmer, a little more open. Good. Make your way to the top of your space. This time, bring your feet together. Toes touch, knees touch. Sit your hips down, chair pose. So chair pose now with knees touching. Squeeze the inner thighs. Bring hands to heart center. Prayer twist to the right. Left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Now check in with your knees. The left knee will want to jut forward because your hip is coming forward. Pull that left hip and knee back. Gaze is to your top elbow or just past it. Working that chest to rotate towards the thumbs. Now bring your gaze down to the right foot. Start to shift your weight into that right foot, lifting the left foot and shoot it back into revolved crescent. Keep that back leg really straight and strong, lifting the left hip up. And if you'd like to open your arms here, you can. Otherwise, keep them in prayer at the heart center. Remembering always to breathe. Good. Hands come back to heart center if they weren't already there. And then rise up into crescent lunge. Then we move into warrior one. So we've been here once already. Back heel is down. You might want to shorten your stance so you can bend your front knee deeply. Keep your hips pointing forward. Now straighten the front leg. Right hand to the right hip. Pull that right hip crease back as you hinge forward. Now I'm going to use my blocks here. Brings the floor a little closer for me. Level out your sacrum. Squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you. So I use the blocks to place on either side of my foot. And I keep pulling that right hip back, left hip forward. Good. Now remove that right block. Place the left block just inside the foot, or your hand can be on your foot or the floor. Pull the right hip back a little more and then find revolve triangle, reaching that right hand up. Rotate the chest to the side. Now we move into revolve dancer. So launch into your standing foot, bend the back foot and reach back with your right hand. So right hand is coming to the left foot. Gaze comes up, kick into your hand. Yes, this feels different than our regular dancers for sure. Kick into your hand. Good. Gently release. Cross left leg over the right. Eagle pose. Left arm under the right. Sit your hips as low as you can. Shoulders back over the hips. Elbows up. Yes. Find that same exact spot to bring your gaze to. Now, if you can, hinge forward, drawing elbows to knees, rounding the back. Then slowly rise back up into your eagle pose. Hold here for just a moment and release. Take a moment here, palms face forward. Take a couple of deep breaths. Good. Then we'll move into the other side. So I'm getting my blocks resituated for myself here. Feet come back together. Feet together, knees together, thighs together. Chair pose. Hands come to sternum here at heart center. And then on an exhale, we'll prayer twist to the left, right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Again, check in with the knees. That right knee and hip want to come forward. Pull them back. Squeeze shoulder blades together behind you, opening up through the chest. Good. Bring your gaze down to the left foot. Start to shift the weight into that foot, and then slowly bring the right leg back, finding your revolved crescent. Press into that back heel. Back leg is so strong. If you open your arms on the other side, go ahead and do that again here. Stay deeply bent in your front knee. Good. Hands come back to heart center if you had opened them, and then rise back up to crescent lunge. Now shift into warrior one. So hips are pointing forward. Sit deep in the front knee as you press your heel, back heel into the ground. Good. Now we straighten the front leg, left hand to left hip. Really pull it back as you hinge forward, finding pyramid pose here. Keep pressing into the back heel. Push that down into the mat as you push into the ball of the front foot. Good. Left hip keeps pulling back this whole time. Now remove that left block. Place the other block just inside your left foot. Right hand on that block or on the floor or on your foot. And reach the left hand up, rotating, finding a revolved triangle here. Good. Bring your gaze to the floor in front of you. Slowly launch forward. Bend the right knee. Take hold of the right foot with the left hand and rise into reverse dancers. Yes, you can. Breathe. Good. That transition is very challenging, so if you fall out, it's okay. Come right back into it. Take your time. Rise up, and we transition now into eagle pose. Right knee over, right arm under. Good. Sit the hips down. Lift the elbows up. Now be careful. Sit those shoulders back. They don't want to be leaning forward. And just as I said that, now I'm going to have you round forward, elbows to your knees, rounding through your back. Good. Stay deep in the hips. Yes, and then slowly bring the torso back up. Good. Elbows up. And release. Beautiful job. Hold here for a few breaths. Slow it all down. Reach your arms up. Make that triangle. Find a back bend. Yes, and then forward fold. Halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale, step it back to high plank, chaturanga, and press right back up. Good, chaturanga push-ups, down and up. You can always drop to your knees, 3 more, down, up. You don't have to go deep, down and up. Elbows into the ribs, 1 more, down and up. Good, now drop your knees and lower all the way to your belly. Good. I'm going to do some spine strengthening here. So I'll start with the Cobra Pose variation. Feet hip bones distance apart, top of the feet down, hands under the shoulders, and then lift your chest. Tuck your elbows into your ribs. No weight in the hands here. We're using only the muscles here along the spine. Yeah. Shoulders away from your ears. Good. Release. Left ear to the mat. Let your palms face up and your heels roll out here. Take a moment. Good. Let's do our next spine strengthening locust pose variation. Interlace the hands at the low back. Lift your chest, lift that one fist up and draw it towards your heels, and lift your heels and legs up. Good. Notice that your neck is an extension of your spine, so your gaze should be down but slightly in front of you. Lift that one fist up, pull it back again. Good, and release. Right ear to the mat now. Let your shoulders relax, maybe rock your hips a little bit. So for the next one, you're going to bring your forehead to the mat. Reach your left arm out in front of you, nice and long. I'm going to scooch back a little bit here. And then bend your right knee and take hold of your top of your foot with your right hand. Draw the knees in together. And you're going to kick back into that right hand and press into your left hand. So left hand pushes into the ground. We're opening up that right shoulder. Good. Very actively kicking into the hand, and then release down, and we'll switch sides. So right hand to the mat, left hand reaches back to the left foot. Draw your knees together and then kick into your hand and press your right hand into the mat or the floor in front of you. Good. Release it down, left ear to the mat, palms face up. Let your heels roll out. Our last spine strengthening pose will be Dhanurasana floor bow. Forehead to the mat, bend your knees, draw the knees together as you take your feet with your hands. Good. Now you're going to lift the chest, kick into your hands. You can lift your knees and thighs, but if that creates any strain on your knees, press your thighs back into the ground. Keep your knees connected to the ground as you kick into your hands, so just your chest lifts. Otherwise, thighs lift, chest lifts. Really actively kicking here. Notice if your knees are splaying out, pull them back in, and then release. Right ear to the mat. If it feels good here, sway the shins side to side like windshield wipers. Releasing the low back. Good, and then press up into tabletop and find cat pose. You really round the back, draw chin to chest, tailbone down. Hold here. And then maybe a little bit of a cat, just a little one, and then back into cat. Excuse me, a little bit of cow, back into cat, and then release down. Good. So we're going to work into fire log here. So take your left shin, place it in front of you so it's parallel to the side of your mat, and then take the right shin and place it on top of the left. Now you may notice here I don't have my feet all the way to my knees or thighs. It's simply because I don't have that flexibility available to me in my hips. So just find where you can. Then you can lean forward if you like, keeping your chest long, spine is long, and I've walked my hands over to the left side here, so away from my top leg. This intensifies that stretch through the right glute, outer hip, even up a little bit into the QL. Flex all 10 toes in. Good, come back to center, walk your hands in. And now we'll make our way into a seated wide leg forward fold. So walk your feet and legs as far open as you can. Sit up nice and tall. Toes and knees should point straight up the whole time. So you can stay sitting upright. You can even bolster something under your glutes if that helps you sit upright. Now, if you'd like to add intensity, you can start to lean forward, keeping the chest long, but you want to keep checking in with the knees and toes and make sure they haven't rolled in. You want them pointing straight up. So really stretching out those inner thighs here. Resisting the urge to round through the back because that unfortunately takes out a lot of the stretch that we're looking for here. Walk your hands in, slowly rise up. We'll find fire log or double pigeon on this side. So this time the opposite shin bone is in front or on the bottom here, parallel to the side of the mat, and then take the other shin bone on top. Flex all 10 toes in. Sit up nice and tall. You can stay here or begin to walk your hands forward. Keep the glutes, the sits bones connected to the mat. And then if you'd like, you can walk your hands and your chest over to the right side here. Sort of like we did in child's pose at the beginning of our practice today. If that left knee is popping up, just very gently encourage it down. We don't want to push or force. Breathe. Good. Walk your hands back to center. Come on up. Release the legs. And now we'll move into a seated forward fold. So take your hands to your glutes, move them up out of the way so the sits bones are connected. Flex the toes in. Now you'll notice here my spine is really straight and long, and that's important here. I'm going to shoot the tailbone back Now you can bend your knees here. That's perfectly fine in order to get hold of your ankles, your shins, or your toes. You can even use a strap or a belt around your feet to help lengthen the arms. Just make sure that the spine is straight. Resist any urge you may have to use your hands to pull on your feet. We never want to force a fold. Then lower down onto your back. Moving into bridge pose, bend your knees, feet on the mat. Lift the hips up and walk the shoulders and the arms in, maybe interlacing the hands. Creating a ledge here with your shoulders. Work the tailbone down away from your back. So draw the tailbone towards your shins. Press the hips up, chin slightly away from chest. Notice if your knees splay open here. Pull them back in so they shoot straight ahead. And then lower down, top, middle, and then low back. Keep your knees bent. Walk your feet to the outer edge of the mat. Your feet to the outer edge of your mat. Your knees come together at the center. Take a moment here. Good, now we're moving into happy baby. Bend your knees, take hold of the bottom of your feet. Maybe a little rock side to side if that feels good. And release. All right. Bridge pose, second set. So you can either repeat what we just did or work into candlestick. You're going to place your hands on either side of the sacrum, fingertips pointing out. Work the shoulders in. And then lift your feet up off of the mat. Legs come straight up. So you're supporting the weight of your body in your hands on the backs of your arms here. Flex the toes in as if you're standing on the ceiling. Good. So this is an inversion. This is reversing the flow of energy, helping you leave your mat today feeling energized, feeling well-rounded. Very slowly release your feet down, top, middle, and then low back down. Feet to the outer edges, knees come together to touch. One hand on belly, one hand on heart. Close your eyes and breathe. Now we'll finish out our practice with a supine twist. Walk your hips to the right, bring your knees to the left, chin over your right shoulder. Take a moment here and then shift back to center. Bring your hips to the left, drop your knees to the right, chin over the left shoulder now. Good. Return to center. Pull your knees in, forehead to knees. Give yourself a nice squeeze here. And then release into your Shavasana for today. Toes roll out. Work that tailbone down towards your heels, shoulders down. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. I hope to see you on your mat again very soon. Namaste.